Hi everyone, welcome to the day 12 session on WebDriver. We are into phase 2, that is module 2, which is related with the advanced topic. So we are learning TestNG Maven in more detail with respect to a framework. So in the last session we covered a few topics. For example, adding a description to a test case, adding dependency to my test case. So depends on methods is equal to test case 3, test case 4. Then we also learn how to enable and disable a test case. So at the test annotation has a enabled equal to option. For example, this enabled equal to, you can say false. By that way you are disabling a test case. So let's continue with the same topic. Guys, if you have a question, you can post me on Skype. Thanks. Let's continue. So what we covered so far is enable the test case, description to a test case. We covered all annotations as well, dependency. Okay. All configuration annotation. Now let's get started with the next topic, which is creating a test suite. It's basically an XML file. Then there are many options that you can specify in a test suite. For example, include, exclude, tests, then run test cases, all test from package or class. Okay, and some specified methods as well. The next part we will learn is the parameterization. That means passing a data test case. There are two types. One is using parameter annotation. Other option is using provider annotation. Anything which is starting with is annotation in Java. So the most important is the data provider annotation. Okay. From this is going to complete TestNG. Okay, there is one more part actually in TestNG, that is about listeners. Okay, that I will be covering later. Okay, then we have a Maven topic. Just wanted to give you summary that what are the pending topics we have. Maven Advanced. Okay, so there we will add Maven plugin. We will be adding a Surefire plugin. Okay, you can also specify JDK version, command line execution, then report ng, integration, then extend report integration. Okay, but this is reporting part that I will be covering as a part of framework. Okay, before Maven, I think we should learn, page object model. which is important for a framework. Okay, so we have to learn automation framework. So in automation framework, there are basically many types of framework. Data driven framework, keyword driven, hybrid framework. Okay, we will be covering data driven framework. Okay, this is what we will be covering in detail. Okay, and that too I will be using @data provider and page object model design pattern. We may use a browser factory also. Okay, question from Amit is, can you please confirm if you are started recording? Yep, I already did. I already started recording. Then data-driven framework in detail we will learn. I will only tell you about concepts on keyword-driven and hybrid framework. I will show you a keyword-driven framework. Okay, and the next part is the cucumber for data behavioral driven development, BDD framework. Okay, that I will be covering. Maybe one day will be required for cucumber. Then yep, there are some advanced parts also. I don't remember everything, but this is the high level outline for next few days that we will be learning. Guys, requesting all to please do not miss any session now onwards. We are getting into more advanced topic. Fine. So let's get back to the topic. This is already done. Let's start with creating a test suite. Okay, fine. So I'm going to create, guys, if you have any questions, anything you want to discuss, please feel free to ping me on Skype. And at the end, actually, there might be some other topic that I might have missed, but at the end we will be learning mobile automation for Android and iOS. Okay, so with the help of APM tool. So it covers again many subtopics like how to inspect and what is different, and um, you know so such a kind of topic, for example, how to automate a mobile web, mobile native and mobile hybrid application. So we'll be covering that as the last topics. Right now only let's get started with topics from here. Other than about three framework, if page object model also type of a framework only. Page object model is a design pattern. Okay, it can be implemented in any framework. Yes, even BDD is also considered sometimes as a framework, behavioral driven development framework. If you go to QTP, QTP has one more type as a business process testing, BPT framework, and these are like most popular kind of a framework. But maybe if you review some course content or maybe some training document, you might find more two types like a linear framework and modular framework. But I don't consider linear and modular are really a framework. Modular framework means having separate methods for doing separate things and calling those methods. So I don't think that fits into definition of a framework. And linear framework is just writing the code in a sequential. So I don't feel it is really going to be a reusable and a good framework. So I always consider data-driven framework, keyword-driven hybrid. For QTP, it is BPT. For Cucumber, it is BDD framework. All right, guys, you don't have to need a to you don't need to create a GitHub account. Okay, you have to create account on a GitLab. GitLab. Okay, if you have GitHub account, you can log into GitLab with GitHub. So that's it. GitLab. I'm again saying not a Bitbucket also. So you have to create account on a GitLab. So if you already have a GitHub account, you can go ahead and create a um, GitLab account. Fine. Once you are done, please share all of the GitLab IDs with me. Uh, I think you can post it on a WhatsApp group, but do it in some specific time, because I will have to get each and every ID and add it into the project. So, okay, today we will start with a GitLab as well. So, what I will do is I will first show you a GitLab, gitlab.com. Okay, GitLab is just like a GitHub. For those who don't know what is GitHub, GitLab, uh, this is software configuration management. Most of you must have learned software configuration management term. So managing all the configurable item from your software. This is the high level meaning of software configuration management. So configurable item means those items which can be changed. So for example, in software development, the documents, source code, some configuration, all of these things are can be changed, right? So managing all these changes, managing all these artifacts which can be changed, this mechanism of software configuration management. And GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, these are open source Git repositories. Okay, there are other options also. You might have used SVN or Visual Sourcesafe or Team Foundation. These are also another examples of software configuration management tool. We also refer these tools as version control sometimes, because it allows us to create the different versions of the file and product. So we will be learning a GitLab because Git is the most popular. We can actually create an account on a GitHub also, but GitHub, the private repository on a GitHub is paid. We cannot create a public repository on a GitHub. Sorry, we can only create public repository on a GitHub with a free account. If you want to create a private repository, you need to have a paid account. So for every individual user, they charge something. But anyways, GitHub is always good. GitLab is again from the same developers who has a GitHub. Okay. It is from the same community, but it also allows us to create um, private repositories. So I will just log in here. Okay. If you have a GitHub account, you can log in with the GitHub. Okay. This is Bitbucket. If you have an account on a Bitbucket, you can log in with a Bitbucket, or you can log in with a Google also. So let me log in with the. I don't remember my username password. Let me try. Okay, perfect. So I will just say save. So that's a project. After login, I will see different projects. So this is a project that I created for you guys. You won't be creating a new project. Most of the time it will be you will be automatically getting a project, and this project has empty. You won't be able to pull project via SSH until you say. Forget about SSH key. Most of the time we in office we use SSH key, but here I won't be telling you how to use it. If you want, you can read the more details about here, how to add a SSH key. So this is the URL to my repository. Okay, make sure you have installed Git Bash. You need to install Git GUI or a Git. Git GUI comes with a Git Bash. So Git Bash is like a command line mode. Okay, and that's the command prompt you see. Fine. So what I will do is, this is Linux like terminal. Okay, so this is a repository without any source code in it. So I wanted to add a source code. So to add, there are many options actually. One option is using a global setup. The global setup, you need to do it for the first time. So for example, in my case, uh, let's see if that I'm already using GitHub or Git Bash from a long time. So this global configuration, I'm assuming, must be there already. But if you are using it for first time, see, my global configuration is as username is as Vikas Pune, and let's check my email address as okay, that is vikas.tangi@gmail. But you will need to set it for the first time if you are using it. So the command is, this is the command going to be, I will add it into some notepad so that you can use it. Okay, instead of Vikas Tangi, you can give your name. So first step should be install Git Bash or just Git GUI. It has Bash also. Bash is command line mode. Second step is create account on Git Bitbucket. Sorry, GitLab. Okay. Make a note of username and password. Then third step is open and set email ID. So this is the third step you will do. Next step is this you don't have to do it, because what I will do is, this is empty repository, right? The completely blank repository. So this is the first time I will be adding some code to my repository. All right, so see this repository, no, if you already have files on, okay, so this is going to be the first time that I will add a code. So there are many options I can use. I can use the existing Git repository, I can use the existing folder, or I can create a new repository. So let me tell you how to create a new repository. Or most of the time we go with this option, existing repository. I have some code on my local machine, okay, and which I need to upload it into GitHub. So let's say this is the project 24th August 27. This is the project, data driven framework with page object model. That's the title I given to the project. I want this source code of this project into the GitHub. So open that folder, go to the Git Bash, paste. Git Bash is Linux like terminal, so this path should be /, and there is no drive kind of concept. It is just a /c/user. Okay guys, make a note of this, that is /c/users, that way. So I switch to that folder. By pwd it will show my current folder, current path, current directory, current working directory. So I am into directory. I will say ls will show the files. This is completely Linux command. Okay, again I am telling you. So ls will tell me what are the different files are there, folders are there. Okay, now what I will do is I will follow this step. So I see the existing folder, I did that. Next command is git init. Guys, you do not have to follow this step. This is only for me, okay? Because I am adding code for the first time. If you are adding a code to the first into repository for first time, then you have to do it. Git init, see, initialize the empty git repository, then git remote add origin, and then you have to pass the URL. So that URL is this. Okay, so added a remote repository. Next step is I will say git status. So it will tell me that what are the files which are untracked. Okay, let's say I wanted to add pom.xml, src folder, these two files and some class path and project and settings, see, target folder is a temporary folder, test output folder is also a temporary folder. So I don't want to this add this target and test output folder, so I will only add pom.xml. Oops, my bad. Git add pom.xml, git add src, and if you want you can add the other files as like dot class path, dot project, dot setting. But guys, this is temporary files. I do not want to add these files into my git repository. So for that I will create a git ignore. I will create a git ignore file dot git ignore. Yes, I want to create a file, and in that file just put that file name which you do not want to add into class path into your project. So for one is class path, because this is temporary file dot, every machine it will be created as a new file in Eclipse. Settings, then target, then test output. Okay, I just now saved it. I will say ls. Oops, that file is saved somewhere. Somewhere else, it has to be saved in the current directory, but I don't see it is there. Or maybe I will have to say ls-a to show hidden files also. Can you see that .git ignore file is created? Yep, it is created. So I will say git status. So git status, I added this two file, pom.xml and the src folder, but .git ignore file is not added. I will add .git ignore also. Oops, git add. See what here they have specified git add dot, it means it will is going to add all the files in the current folder, but I don't want to add all the files, right? Because there are some temporary files which I don't want to be added into the main repository. Why to add temporary garbage files which are creating every time when you run your project into the central repository, right? It doesn't make sense. Okay, so now next step is commit. By saying add command, I just marked those files to be added. See, git status, you can execute git status anytime to check the what is the status. So the status is new file, this is new file added, this is new file added, this is new file added, but this file are not committed yet. Commit means okay, finalize it, that I wanted to save it. So git commit, after adding, next command should be git commit. So added first of project. See, 3 files changed, 95 insertions, 95 lines. Okay, it is actually a 95 lines. So this 3 file added. Next step is I said commit. So for those who are using SVN, if you commit your SVN, that means you are pushing your changes to the server. Okay, you are sending your changes to the server side. But in Git it is little bit different. If you commit, that means the changes will be saved on your local computer only. But if you want to save it, if you want to send these changes to the remote repository on the server, then you have to execute next command, which is git push. Okay, git push, where origin means the server, and on which branch. There are branches basically, so I will use a master branch. These are my commands, guys. Okay, I'm setting this repository for the first time, that's why I need to do all this stuff. It is asking me for username and password. So my username is Vikas Chanke and password is, okay, so this username password is important. Okay, the changes are pushed, and that's perfect. So let me refresh this page and see what is there. Okay, now it is not showing me the instructions. Now it is only showing me the file which I added. So this is the folder I added. Let's see what is there in the folder. It has TestNG Advanced Java file. Click on that Java file. You will be able to read the complete code of that file. Okay, this is the complete code of that file which we added. And that's perfect. Okay, because wanted to know, once we created account in a GitLab, then we'll need Git terminal on a Windows machine, and how to get the Linux terminal. I said I mentioned that step, Amit. See, the first step is install Git GUI. Okay, you need to install Git GUI, which has a bash. So Git GUI, you can download it online. You can download it for Windows. So Git downloads. Okay, and there you have an option for which version you can download, and download for Windows is there. You can also download for Mac, Linux, or Solaris, whichever operating system you are using. So once you download this, it just install it. It has built-in Git bash. Okay, is that clear, guys? You have any other questions? Please download this Git GUI, and it has a Git bash built in. Okay, this Git is used for GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, or any Git project, basically any Git repository. This is the generic one. Git is very popular nowadays, guys. Okay, let's continue. Now for you guys, is anybody created account already? Someone mentioned me, guys. Just ping your Git bit GitLab ID. Thanks, Jane. So I will just copy that. Okay, Jane, you have microphone? Gaurav, ping me on group. Okay, let me check if I can. Can you please download the Git GUI, or anybody is having Git GUI on installed on machine already? With you have Git ID and Git GUI already installed on machine. Is there anybody? I can show you that what is the next step you have to do it on your machine. Or guys, can you quickly download the Git GUI and install it, and let me know once it is installed. I'm fine with any option. Created Git ID, downloading GUI. Thanks, Abhishek. You mean GitLab, Abhishek, right? Shruti is installing. Okay, let me know once you are done. I will take any one of your machine remotely, and I will tell you how to set it up, so that it is going to help everybody. All right. So till that time, let's go back to the code. Okay, and continue with the topic. I will come back uh, to Git after some time. So now, guys, this is my project. Okay, I won't be renaming it with today's date. Today is 28th August, but let's continue using the same project. The topic that we are going to learn is creating a test suite. Test suite is the collection of a test cases. So let me create a new test suite. Test suite is basically, it is an XML file. Okay, I already wrote an XML. It is an XML file in the project. So I'm creating a new file, right click, new file, testng.xml. We actually missed a couple of topics like Jenkins also we have missed here. Selenium grid is also missed. So there are many topics that we have to cover. Okay. All right. So this is my testng.xml. Going to the source. Now before this is testng.xml. Mostly people give name as a testng.xml, but it is not mandatory that you should give testng.xml. You can give any name. In fact. Okay. So let me get a sample from testng.xml. So testng XML suite. TestNG.org is the official website. Let's go to that site. I'm interested into that one line, basically the first line. Can you see that document type suite system, DTD? In this line, I'm interested. So just copy that line, paste it as the first line in your TestNG.xml, save it. This line is very important, very useful, basically to get the schema of the XML, how that XML should look like. So now just say open bracket control space, you see this suite is automatically coming up. This suite is automatically coming up because of that DTD file, the link which I added in the first line. So inside a suite, the name is mandatory. So I will give suite name as regression testing. Okay. Now inside a suite, next we add is the test tag. Okay, you can give some name to your test tag, for example login test. Okay, and then inside the test tag you can specify which class you want to run, classes, then class tag. Okay, the class name you have to specify. For example, I want to run this class, TestNG Advanced. I want to run all the 4 test cases from this test case. Okay, one test case is disabled. I will enable it. Oh, my bad, it should be true. So I want to run this class. So copy qualified name, right click, select a class, copy qualified name. Qualified name, it means the name with the package. Okay, so for this class the qualified name is this. Com is a package, Vikas is a package, automation is a package, example is a package. So this is completely package name and this is class name. This is what we say as a qualified name. So suite has a test has a classes has a class. This is the high level structure, and let me run testng.xml suite. Okay, so can you see that now I am getting option as a testng suite. Okay, if you run a single class, right click, run as testng test option you get. But if you are right clicking on testng.xml, then you will get option as testng suite. Okay, so run this as a suite. All right, so test case executed very quickly because I only added few I just printed that after test, before test, and that way. So test case 1 got skipped because test case 1, double click on test case 1. Test case 1 was dependent on test case 3 and test case 4. As test case number 4 is got failed, we intentionally failed this test case using asset.fail. As test case number got 4 failed, test case 1 got skipped, but test case 3 and 2 got executed successfully. Okay, because the option selected here is the correct, or should we select the, I don't see any snapshot. You can send this snapshot on WhatsApp. Send it on a group if you can. All right, let's go back. So this is the way you execute a test suite. So go to the console and there you see a sequence: before suit, after, before test, before class, then before method called, then test case 3 called, test case 4 called, test case 2 called, after method for every test, after class, after test, after suit. So this is the way we execute. We create a TestNG suite. All right. So a TestNG suite is created, and we just now executed this suite. This is a very simplest structure of a TestNG suite where you can execute any classes. Now, for example, you have one more class to execute. Okay, I'm adding a new class. Let's say login test, and there I can write some WebDriver script actually. Test. Guys, we are moving to framework topic slowly. Okay, so the same project I will continue for next few days so that we can till the time we finish up with the framework. So public void test alter a mutual login. So I will write some WebDriver code. System dot set property. Then you have to give path of the name of a property and the path of the driver. So WebDriver dot chrome dot driver. The name you have to give, the path you have to give is the C colons E. I mean wherever you are chrome driver dot exe. So my chrome driver is present on E drive. Driver slash chrome driver dot exe. Okay. Next step is launch the browser. So WebDriver driver. I need to import WebDriver. Control space is equal to new Chrome driver. Okay. I forgot to import. Say control space enter. Done. The import line added. Next is open the URL driver dot get. There you have to pass a URL. So my URL is http:// demo.testfire.net. Okay. Now I will go to here, open that URL demo.testfire.net. Now here I need to click on online banking login, and this is a hyperlink, right? This is a hyperlink. So I'm just copying the text. I will use a locator as link text. The link text is this, and on this element I have to click. Okay, on this element I have to click. So let's say I'm clicking on that link. Next it opens the online banking login. I have to perform enter username, enter password, and click on login button. So inspect that username first. It is having ID as UID. For password, ID is PASSW. Okay, so let's write a code. Do login. That's a comment. Driver dot find element by dot ID. The ID I will specify is UID dot send keys. Let me send the keys. JSmith is the username. Driver dot find element by dot ID. ID was PASSW. I think. Dot send keys demo 1234. That's the password. Now next option is you have to click on login button. So there are two options basically. One option is like just type something and type password and hit enter key. So that's a one option. You can just hit a enter key, or you can click on a login button. You can go with anything, you know. So if you want to hit enter key, here only you can say plus keys dot enter. This is one option. Okay, this is one option. Another option is on the same element, I will call submit method. You know, this is like form submission. So submit. Okay, this is also one option. This is also one option. Okay, and third option is clicking on the login button. So I will use that simplest option, which is actually a clicking on login button, but for that I need to inspect a element. So it is having name equal to button submit, id is not there, so I can use a name btn submit driver dot find element by dot name. Okay, button submit dot click, and after login done, okay, let me log in driver. Oh, I'm writing code here. jsmith demo 1 2 3 4. Guys, let me know if it is going very fast. I can slow down my speed. Now next is I have to locate this element. Okay, so let's read the tag. It is a h1 tag. Okay, without id, without name, without class name or anything. So I will try to locate this element with tag name h1. So for that I need to check, is there any duplicate h1 tag. I can use a tag name, but I need to make sure that there is no duplicate h1. So just say control F. Many people are asking this question, why this is shown, you know, find by string, selector or XPath. This is shown because I am clicking on control F. You know, for example, see, initially it won't be there. Go here. I will reduce the browser size so that you can see it properly. And then say control F. Click here and say control F. So control F will show this bar. I will say CSS selector as H1, enter. Can you see that all H1 will be selected? So this is one of one is matching. Just write directly CSS selector or XPath here. If I'm saying XPath as / H1, that means a tag name with the H1. So see, this is selected. So let's go to the script driver.find element. Guys, I am assuming we have been learning WebDriver for many days and you should be comfortable with locating element now. And as I said, remove your dependency of using Firebug, Firepath. You should be able to locate an element using any browser, any add-on. You know, use any add-on just to get that element is there or not. You know, what is the read HTML, build your own locator. You should create your own locator and then just test it. You know, maybe control F and then paste it the CSS or XPath, you know, that way. So I'm writing by the tag name. The tag name is h1. On the h1, I will read the text. The text has to match string actual text is equal to, the text has to match with hello John Smith. So I will add assertion. I will add assertion, assert equal. If you see this strike through, that means you have imported from assertion from somewhere else. I will just mouse over on assert and see from where it is in, it is imported. It is imported from JUnit framework assert. I don't want this. I want to use TestNG. Mouse over, import it from TestNG. Expected was hello. This is my expected text. Actually, I will get it here. Okay, so this will automatically fail if both are not matching. Okay, the third optional parameter you should always specify is the failure message. You know, let's say greeting message field, or you can simply say login field. If that message is not there, you know, something like that, you can see login field. Other option is you can also check the URL of a browser. So assert dot assert equal. The actual URL you will get it from driver dot get current URL, and the expected URL is, let's copy that from browser. Oops. And the failure message, which is actually optional, but you should always give a failure message, a proper meaningful message. So meaningful message, if both URL are not matching, then fail the test case with the message as um, failed to login or something like that. This has to go as the first checkpoint. After login, you should be first checking whether login is done or not with the URL, and then you can go ahead and check if it is passing, then only go and check the text is matching or not, right? So now I just corrected the sequence. At the final step, I will say driver dot close. Okay, but guys, if you remember, we already learned before method. What I will do, I will take help of before method, after method for launching browser and closing browser. Okay, so public void, you can give any name to the method I gave before method, and there I will do this job of initialization. Even I will open that URL also. Okay, so these 3 lines. But guys, the driver is a local variable. If I want to give access to the other variable, I need to declare it in a class, and still most of the people are doing mistake. Webdriver driver. So these are two different variable. Okay, this WebDriver will not be initialized anywhere. This is just getting used. So do not add WebDriver here. Just driver is equal to, or you can say this dot driver, anything is fine. Okay, so driver equal to new Chrome driver. So I'm using a same driver. Mostly people write WebDriver here, and which creates a problem. So that's a before method. And after my test case, I want to quit my driver. So I'm writing after method. Oh, my bad. Public void after method. Okay, after method, you need to import it. Done. And then I will say driver dot quit instead of saying that driver dot quit at the last line in your test case. So irrespective of whether the test case is passing, failing, every time my browser will be launched and it will be closed at the end. So that is the use of configuration methods. Let me check any questions you have. Okay, let me know if you have any questions, guys. Okay, okay, for Abhishek, you asked me questions. Abhishek, you can use git from Windows command, or use git and optional Unix tools from Windows command prompt. I think you can use the second option, use git and optional Unix tools. Anything is fine, but I would prefer the last radio button to select, Abhishek. Okay, thanks, Savita. GitLab ID. But guys, I will ask your individual GitLab ID maybe after this session, because it will take some time to add, collect everyone's GitLab ID and give you access permissions. I will do that after session, but don't post it here. Once we are done with the session, post your GitLab IDs on Skype. So I will just copy paste that and add into GitLab. Okay, so don't post right now. Post all your GitLab IDs once the session is done. Okay, so it is time to run the test case and see whether it is getting passed or failed. But guys, this is the way we generally run a test case, right? Right click, run as TestNG test. I wanted to run this test case as a part of my test suite. So this is the first class I want to run. Another class I want to run is class name is equal to the login test I want to run. That is, copy the qualified name, go here, paste it. So as a part of this test suite, it is going to run two classes, TestNG Advanced and a login test. Both the classes will be executed. So right click, run as. Oops, do not right click on this file, like right click on the XML file, run as TestNG suite. Okay, Smith, and the login is done. The test case is also passed, I think. Go to the TestNG result and see. Regression test, this is suite name. This is your test name. In that test, I executed two classes. This is the first class. In this TestNG Advanced class, one failed, one skipped. There was another class, login test, ultra mutual login. So this is passed. Okay. Let's go to the console and see the message. So before test, before class, and after class. So before class, after class means one class is executed. Okay, and now we are into second class. That second class is the login test. In login test, see, the browser is launched in the before method. Okay, then after test is also executed. See, because both the classes are executed, I forgot to add before method, after method into the login test also. That is why it is not printing anything like the first class. So in login test, it is launching a browser. It did automation job, and then after test is called. So after test, after method was also called, which will close the browser. Then after test is called, and after suit is called. So as you can see, after test and after suit is common. Even though if you are writing into any one class, it is common, guys. It doesn't matter where you are writing. After test and after suit is common, but before class, before method, these are different for every class. So before class from the login from the TestNG Advanced will not be called for login test, because before class is should be present for every class if you want to. So yep, this is it. Any questions? Let me know if you have any questions. I can answer your queries. Guys, do you have any questions? So this is the way we created TestNG suite. Jen has no question. Thanks, Jen. Text is not read. Text was read and it is compared, Priyanka. I haven't printed it on a console. So that is the reason you won't be able to see it. See, I'm reading a text from a web page and directly comparing. I'm not printing it on a console. So let's say this is getting fail. I'm expecting hello Vikas. Let's say, I will intentionally fail a test case. Oops. Okay, let's say this is my expected text, and if I run this test as a suit, see, this happens very fast, so it will just take few seconds. So opening a browser, this is home page, then login page, then enter username password, and then see login is done, reading a text, and that's it. So as you can see, the failure count is increased. Go here, see the test case is failed, and what it is saying, greeting message failed, expected was hello John Smith, but found is hello Vikas. I think I did a mistake here. The first thing you give is the actual message, actual value, and then you give expected. My bad. The first should be actual, then expected. Okay, that is why it is showing that message in a reverse order. Okay, before class, before method is mandatory for every class separately. No, no, no. It is not mandatory. If you want, for every class, you need to have a before class and before um, before class and before method, you can add it. This is optional. Now in my case, in my login test, as you can see, I only added before method and after method. I haven't added before class and after class because I don't want to do anything before class and after class for this login test. Okay, that is why I haven't added it. But these are optional, guys. Even though if you're not writing, still it is fine. But just use it appropriate place. For example, I just now did. For every test case, it is going to launch a browser. For every test case, it will close a browser after test. If you have something which need to be done before all the classes, okay, let's say launch browser before all the test cases in the same class, execute all the test cases, and then only close your browser. So if that is the requirement, you should go with before class annotation, before class, after class annotation. And you can use combined as well. It depends on your requirement. We define before suit, before tests in only one of the class. Okay, Gaurav, before test and before suit, if you specify in any class and that class is a part of that class in scope for execution, then all the before method, all the before class, all the before test and all before suits will be executed. Okay, it doesn't matter in which class you have written. If the class is a part of the test suite, then automatically before suite and before class, again before suite and before test will be executed. Okay, Gaurav. And if you are writing multiple before class, before method, before suite, before test, this multiple methods will also get called based on the alphabetical order. I hope I cleared your all doubts. So let's continue. So this is done. Now let's talk about including and excluding test cases. Let's finish up these topics today. So just now we learn how to execute test cases by a class, okay, or multiple classes. Now let's try to understand more detail. See, suit may have multiple tests, right? This is login test. Let's say there is another test. Okay, don't forget to mention name. Let's say user homepage test or user home test, something like that. You can give user profile test or something, and then again write classes, class, mention the name of that class. I can actually execute this login test again as a part of this test. This is also possible. This is valid. Okay, so in short, I wanted to tell you that one suit may have multiple tests, and again test may have classes and classes may have multiple classes. Right now I just specified one class. So if you want, you can keep on adding so many tests into your TestNG suite. Okay, but this time I won't be doing it. Let's comment it. Control Shift C. Control Shift C is the shortcut key for commenting. Uncomment, it is again the same shortcut key, Control Shift C. Now in classes, there are two classes I'm executing. All right, so what I will do is from TestNG test, TestNG advanced class, I don't want to run all method. By default it runs all method. If you say class, by default it will run all the method if you say this class name directly, but I only wanted to execute some specific test cases. So I'm writing a next tag as a methods include, and the method name you should pass. So let's say I want to execute, I only want to execute this test case 3 and test case 2, not the test case 4 and test case 1. So let's specify test case 3 include test case 4. I'm only including this test case 2 and test case 4. So previously the count was to pass to total count was 5, but now I have only included 2 method from that class. That means the total test case count should be reduced by 2, so it should be only 3. Let me run that TestNG suite. This is the way we include a method into your from any class, okay, for execution. Perfect. Can you see that total test case count is only 3 because only these 2 methods are included. Okay. Now what I said is include test case 3 and test case 4. That means it is going to exclude by default automatically other test cases. Let's say you don't want to say include, instead of that you wanted to say exclude, exclude some one particular test case and run all remaining test cases that way. So I will say exclude, okay, and they give the name of the test case. Let's say test case 3. I will exclude test case 3 and let's see what happens. So if I am excluding test case number 3, it will try to execute test case number 1, test case number 2, test case number 4, okay, because I only excluded one test method. Let's run it. But if you are excluding test case number 3, all the dependent test cases will be skipped. Oops, something is wrong. What it says, test case number 2 is depending on a method test case number 3 which is not annotated with @test or not included. See, this is the problem. Test case number 2 is dependent on test case number 3, but I said exclude test case number 3, so test case number 2 we won't be able to execute test case number 2. So I will exclude something else, maybe I can exclude test case number 4. So it should run test case 1, 2, 3. If you are excluding any test, make sure you are also excluding the base dependent test. Again, test case number 1 is dependent on test case number 4. So I will add that dependency, exclude that test case number 1 also. That's the reason I always say that avoid dependency, it makes unnecessary complications. So okay, 3 test cases executed, 1 failed. So let's find out which is failed. See, this test case failed intentionally. Hello Vikas was expected, but actually found is hello John Smith. And test case number 3, test case number 2 got passed. So this is the way you include and exclude methods from one specific class. Okay, now let's say you wanted to run all the test classes from one package. You have many classes in this package, and you wanted to run all classes from that package. So what you will do is, okay, let me create another test suite. You can have as many as test suites you want. All test.xml. Just copy that one line. I always copy this first line because it becomes easy. This control space will show me the options. See, suite is automatically coming up. So if you have that one line, suite name you can give, let's say all test cases. Inside a suite you have to specify test tag. Okay, you can give any test name, let's say all tests. Oops. And inside test tag you have to specify package. I will say packages. Yep, packages. And which package I want to run? I want to run this package. So copy the qualified name of that package. Pasting it here. And right click, run as, all test, run as TestNG suite. So it should be executing all the classes from that package. You don't have to explicitly mention, okay, include this class, exclude that class, some like that. So see, all test cases executed. Go here and see that I said, okay, this is the one class executed, the test obviously failed. This is another class which is executed, the test is obviously failed. Okay. Is include and exclude does similar to enable equal to? Yes, Aman. Include and exclude does similar job to enabled equal to true and false. The only difference is if you say enabled equal to false into your code, into your at the test annotation, then that test case cannot be executed anyhow. Even though if you are including that complete class into your TestNG suite, it cannot be executed. This is like completely disabling a test case. But let's say that test case might be executed as a part of some other suite, you wanted to execute, then do not use enabled equal to true false. Instead use include and exclude, because enabled equal to false will permanently disable that test case until unless you don't change it again to true. Okay, so even though if you have included that method into test suite, but the test case is marked as enabled equal to false, it cannot be executed. I hope I cleared your question, Arman. Any other questions? Please keep on posting if you have any other question. Any questions, guys, or shall we continue? Guys, say something. Yes, no. Okay, let's continue. So, thanks, guys. Thank you very much. So what we covered is how to include and exclude test cases from a package. Okay. One thing that we haven't learned is about grouping a test case. Okay, let me quickly cover that, how to group a test case and how to execute test cases for that specific group. Let me create a package, a class, basically a class. Groups example. Okay, @test public test 1. Okay, I will just copy that test 1 multiple times because I want some sample test cases to create a group. I hope this works. Public, oh my bad, public void. I forgot to give return type. So there are total 5 test cases. Okay. Now what I will do is I will assign a group to the test case. Let's say I have groups like smoke, regression. I have a group like smoke and regression. This test case is belonging from regression test. Okay, this test case belongs from smoke. It is, you can give any case, but generally I will prefer to use uppercase only. This test case belongs from smoke as well as regression. Okay, so if you want to give multiple group, you need to give curly bracket. Guys, if there any spell mistake, typo, please do let me know. This test case is also belonging from both the group, and this case is only belonging from smoke, assume, regression. So how many test cases belonging from regression? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many test cases belonging from smoke? 1, 2, 3. How many test cases are only from smoke? There is only one test case. How many test cases are only from regression? 1 and 2. Okay, so these are just sample test cases. Now I wanted to run only regression group. Okay, so just right click on the class, run as. First I will do run as TestNG test. It will run all the test cases. Okay, see, it is running all test cases by default, 1 2 3 4 5, but I want to run only regression. So right click, run as, run regression, run configuration, my bad. Make sure that class is correct and then select groups, click on browse. It will automatic, it will Eclipse will go to the project and will search all the existing groups you have and tick that specific group which you want to execute. I will say apply, run. So this will only run regression test cases. You know how many test cases got executed from regression? These are 2. So which are those? Test number 1 and test case number 5. Okay, so this is how it is working. So if you want to say that run from regression as well as smoke, oh my bad, if you want to say that run regression as well as smoke, select groups, browse, click on smoke also, say okay. See, I'm saying run both regression and smoke. I will say apply, run. So it will execute both the test cases, smoke, all these test cases which has a smoke and a regression test. See, smoke and regression, smoke, regression. So it should be total only 2, right? Let me see. Test 1 is executed, 1 is from, so okay, 1 2 and 5. Oh, okay, that means both the test cases with having smoke as well as regression are not executed. Okay, so we won't be using this option, guys. Run configuration, this is rarely used, only for debugging or some temporary execution, but we mostly go with the test suite option. So I'm creating a test suite, right click, new, test suite option, switch. Okay, new file. The option I will create is the test, run test groups.xml. okay, again, as I said, the first line is very important for me. So suit, oops, wait for some time, save it, suit, oops, suit. Okay, you can give any name, let's say smoke. I want to run all smoke test cases. In suit, you have to say test. Okay, again you give any name to the test. I will give same name, smoke. For me it doesn't matter right now. Then, oops, my bad. Okay, I don't want to say, I think, okay, 1 second. Can you see that groups, then run, and then include which group you want to include. I want to include all test cases from smoke. This is a syntax for running some specific test cases from that group. Okay, right click on that XML, run as TestNG suite. Oops, nothing executed. Why? Oh, sorry, my bad. One more thing that you have to specify is, see, this group I will move it to the suit level. I will move it to the smooth suit level, and in the test I will say execute package. Packages, execute all the classes. The package or class name is must. You have to provide it. Copy qualified name. That is must, guys. From which package you want to filter the test cases. So I'm saying execute this package, include all the test cases which are having a smoke as a group. Okay, there is only one test case which is belonging from a smoke group. So see, which is that, this is a test case 2. So only one test case executed, test case 2, because it is the only test case which is belonging from smoke. Now I wanted to say that include test cases from smoke and regression. Add another include from smoke and regression. Actually, I think I okay, perfect. Okay. Regression, regression, regression. It is case sensitive. Okay, run it. See the count now is total 3 test cases, which are including smoke, which also regression. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. This 3 test cases got executed, 1, 2, and 5. Now you can also execute this test case include, I think star should work for all. And let's say I wanted to exclude some specific group, exclude smoke. Okay, so include all the test cases but exclude smoke. Oops, my bad. Star dangling. Okay, regular expression. Why is it not working for star? It should work. Okay, I don't remember actually. I kind of forgot how to exclude both test cases from the both. Okay, I don't remember. Maybe you can try and find out more information. All right, this is already 8:31. We should take a hard stop. I wanted to tell you how to set up the GitLab project on your machine. If you have some time, any of you have some time, I can help you to set up that Git project. But before that, let me push my changes to the server. Please wait. Let me push my changes to the server. So in this current folder, see, my current folder is pwd. In this folder, I will say ss. These are the different files I created and updated. I will say git status. So git status will tell me what are the different untracked file. Untracked file means those files which are newly created, and it will also tell me which file is modified. So this is modified file and these are untracked file. Now what I want is, I want all of these files to be sent on the server. So I will say git add command will add all the files into my commit. It is like putting in my bucket. So I added all this file into my bucket. Git status. Okay, I added these files. These are now green, but I haven't committed it. So next step after adding, next step is git commit. So when you specify a commit, you should give a comment also, -m comment. So added test suite and groups. Don't forget to give some comment. Always give a comment to git. Now I will say git status. Now git status will tell me that the nothing to commit. It is working directory is clean, but your branch is ahead of one commit. There is one commit present on local which is not sent on the server. So let push that commit. Git push. So if you say git push, it is going to send the settings on the server. So my username is Vikas Thanke, password is okay. So I pushed my commit. Okay, it is done from local repository to the server repository. Let's go to the GitLab quickly and I will show you whether the changes are there or not. I will say refresh. Guys, see, this is the project. Okay, and it has some commits. Let's click on the commits. You see 2 commits are there. One commit is like 55 minutes ago. That was the added first draft to a project comment. Another comment was added test suite and groups. It was just about a minute ago. So both commits are there and the files are there. You can download these files and try changing it and push it on the server. So that's all for today. After this session, if you have time, I can show you how to clone the repository and use it in your own computer. Thank you very much. If you have time, please stay online.